Hello, everyone, and welcome to BOSScast. This is presented by the Game and Wrestling Connection. I am the Duke, and I'm joined by my real life bro, Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf, say hi to everybody.
Hello.
And we are starting off this series talking about Dungeon Boss. It's a mobile game, free to play mobile game that we both enjoy. And if you haven't picked it up yet, it's free. So download it, check it out. Of course, there's
It's good
in-app
stuff.
purchases, just like any other free to, it's called in-app purchases on mobile. It's called, I don't know, whatever, on desktop. So, it's been so long since I've bought anything. I don't know. Microtransactions. Thank you. That's what I
That's the
was.
one.
Yeah, yeah. Just the microtransactions, and sometimes they're like $20, which isn't very micro. But anyway,
Not even close.
yeah, we move on. Let's talk about Dungeon Boss. So, what got us into playing it? I was actually playing a different game, WWE Immortals, on mobile because I'm a big WWE fan. That's why this is the Game and Wrestling Connection over here on this channel. And um, you could get like free stamina or whatever for watching ads, and Dungeon Boss was one of the ads. So for all you developers out there that aren't sure if your ads that show up in other games are working, this one did. So um, we're both playing Dungeon Boss essentially because I saw that ad. So I saw it, started playing it, and told Lone Wolf about it. And a couple of days later, he was playing it too, and we've been playing it ever since. So a couple months now, I guess. So
Yep.
um, yeah, so we're still pretty new. We're still working our way through everything, but th- that's part of what keeps me playing is that there's so much to do in the game. And I'm sure people who have been playing it for months longer than us would be like, no, not really. Well, they keep adding stuff. So, um, yeah, I know in this day and age, gamers are typically just never happy. But I'm enjoying it, and I enjoy the grind of it. I've always enjoyed that about games, maxing out characters and stuff like that. And there's 50, is there 53 characters now? I think there's 52 or 53. So plenty of opportunity to grind it out. So that's keeping me playing. What about you, Lone Wolf?
Well, I mean, like you said, I got into it because you basically invited me, said, "Hey, check this game out." And I said, "Okay." Um, so I played for like a few days to start off with, and I played like just real casual, I guess. I'd say just picking around, just like because I had another game that I was playing at the time on mobile, and I'd already actually spent I say spent money. I spent free Google money that I get from taking surveys. So
Yeah.
I'm one of those free guys. I don't spend money on video games. I do, but it's money that Google gives me. So,
Right. Right.
um, but yeah, I got into it then, and I was just like, well, this game is actually kind of fun, and it was very similar to the game that I was already playing. And I was just like, well,
Sure.
I have all this progress, but I have somebody that I know that's playing this game, which is always for me. I mean, it's just more fun to play with somebody that is playing the same thing. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and I got into it, and early on, I got extremely frustrated, which all the experts are going to laugh at me here in a second. I got extremely frustrated with going against Ignis in PvP. Um, and yes, you can laugh at me now because I realized that Ignis is now called Ignis the Bad instead of Ignis the Mad because
Well, in
kind of
fairness,
he's kind of bad,
he's been
but early
buffed a
on,
lot since
yeah.
we started playing. There was the caster buff. There was specific buff to him. He's been buffed tremendously, and I actually really enjoy playing with him. However, I don't know that he's your best bet for a defense. So
Well,
anyway, go
yeah,
ahead.
we'll get into
Yeah,
that later. Um,
yeah,
But yeah, I got started playing, and then I was like, all right, this is cool. So I kept playing, and now I think I'm only level 53 right now, but I'm getting there. I still have a lot of work as far as stars. I'm realizing more and more that those things are extremely important because they're just like they're the baseline stats. So that's that. I'm working on that part. My
Cool.
my favorite part of the game though is just, I mean, honestly, the characters themselves, and they constantly, since I've been playing, they've put out in the 2 months I think that we've been playing about, they've put out probably six people
I,
or
I,
five.
I think you're pretty close. Just off the top of my head, so the furnace, who's sort of a special event guy, but he's in the game. So
I
the
hate him,
furnace,
but go ahead.
uh, the furnace, who was Leonidas,
Yep.
Malice.
Igorot came out right when I started playing.
No, I think that was just an event. He had been out
Oh,
already.
okay.
Yeah, he'd been out already. Um,
Did you say Malice?
yes, at Malice. Who else though? Those are the three off
Ice
the top.
Pick.
Ice pick. Yep,
Yep.
exactly. So that's four. Seems like there was somebody else though. At least one more.
Ella.
No,
Wasn't she one of she was a
no,
one
she
star
was in.
person that came out?
No, she was in the PvP shop. She's been in the honor shop for a
Oh,
while.
okay.
So, um, I don't
Maybe
know
I
how
over
long.
exaggerated, but it's
Well, no,
yeah.
it seemed like that,
But they are putting out people
but
consistently.
well, I mean, and lots of tweaks here and there. You know,
Oh yeah.
overall class buffs, overall, uh, you know, just big change. Like they made the big change to PvP, gave everybody more health, so that PvP has the potential to last longer. But then they also gave a
They buff
massive
damage too.
well, yeah, but they also gave a massive buff to fast heroes in adding silence to turn one for
Yeah.
Torchy and Indigo, and that has dramatically impacted uh, offense, made it extremely strong. So you're not. Oh, and then the echo change as well. So, which is good on offense and defense. So, um, making Energy Vault always work. So, um, but yeah, yeah, that's good stuff. I'd say my favorite part of the game is actually the tower right now. Like as far as like a specific piece of the game, yeah. I mean, I love the grind. I said that earlier, but of all the different characters and everything like that and maxing them out and all that. But I really enjoy the tower because I just like the sort of strategic aspect of it, of having to send
Yeah.
in fodder and stuff like that. And yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. It's it's not that hard, but it's just hard enough that sometimes you can fail it. Even at my level, I'm at 60, about to be 66, I think. And
Let me let me come in there.
okay, what you got?
You, you said sometimes you can
Sometimes
fail it.
fail it.
Um, I, I am, and I'm probably I'll play the noob card here. I am awful at the tower, and I have ran the strategies. I've looked up strategies. Go in with your just send somebody that is not good on your team to soak up a couple abilities, and then all this stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, that'll work. And I don't know if I'm just not noticing who I'm sending in, and they're weak against like the first fast person or something. I don't know, but like I usually send in that person, and they get one shot by the first ability, and I'm like, well, he didn't do as much as he should have done, so now I have to send in one other person to try to soak up another ability, and so I'm like losing two people on the first level, and then like losing two people on the second floor, three people on the third floor, and I'm like, well, okay, now I have to send in my best people because I'm losing everybody. But I have gotten a little bit better now that I've starred people up. My biggest thing is just not. like doing it daily. That's
Yeah,
I need to get into that habit.
we'll have to walk through it because it's too many gems left on the table if you're not doing it. I mean, if you don't want to do
Hmm.
it, you don't have to do it. If you don't have time to do it, you don't have time to do it. That's a thing, but it it is a lot of gems and then the ponage points you can buy. You know, if you save them up over the course of 4 or 5 days, you can buy a celestial outright, so you can just wait for the celestial you need to be in the ponage or in the pawn shop, and you can pick up one of those. Or what I'm doing now, I'm trying to ascend Julius, and I've gotten him so close multiple times. Well, actually, I had everything except for subterranean evos, and then the 5 times celestials came up, and I worked on
Hmm.
everything else first, but I ended up getting 3 subterraneans right at the end of it. Or no, I may have had one. I was sitting on one the whole time, and then I got 2 more right before the 5 time celestials event ran out, and so I've been debating him or Igorok, but I'm going more towards Julius. And anyway, back to the point. When the green evos, the nature evos, just the like the second tier version of evos, shows up in the ponage shop, I'll do the tower that day, and or pwn shop. I'll do the tower that day, and then use. I mean, you get like 2,400, almost 2,500 ponage points from a full tower run, so I can get 10 or 20, 10 to 12 of the of those evos, and so it's
Yeah.
gotten me really close to ascending him. Which again, that's like initially I'm like, well, I mean, you get if you save up, you can get the celestials. Well, if you've already got the celestials you need for someone that you really want to ascend, then why not just buy the other things that are kind of that are random? It takes the random out
Right.
of the equation. Obviously, you have to spend all those points, but still. Anyway, and then you can also get loot keys from it. You can also get stamina. You can get 50 stamina a day from it if you want to. So it just all in all, it takes a lot of the random out of the game, which is nice. You don't have to depend on RNG. All you're depending on is the RNG of that shop that day, but you get a lot of choices. So um, yeah, I really like it. But yeah, we'll have to walk through one day, just like really sit down and just slow play it through that, you and I, when I can kind of watch over your shoulder or whatever, and we'll figure it out. But yeah, it can be tough, and the biggest thing with the tower is roster size, because it's one of those things where when you don't have a I've got almost the whole roster. I've got everyone but the furnace, because he didn't drop for me when he was in the shop or whatever, and I didn't have enough gems to do a 10 times roll. But yeah, it's
He he is crazy strong in PvP defense.
yeah. I don't even go up against him.
I did not realize I've done it 2 times now, and I'm going to recognize from now on I'm not going against him because of his, I guess, his passive on first ascension, maybe.
He
His
has
dwarven forge or something,
dwarven forged. Yeah, yeah.
which just is like armor for the whole team.
Everybody. Yeah, yeah.
It's
Um,
crazy strong.
yeah, it is. And he's and he always all attacks, which is or for his basic, which can be
Yep.
pretty brutal. He's really strong. I I don't remember if it was a tower or if it was a PvP where I was just like, well, I'll try. And I brought Theron Fiddlestrom,
Hmm.
and I don't remember what my whole team comp was. I wish I could, because I tried to do it again later, or I had him on floor 11 of the tower, and he wiped my team. Like everybody I had left, he wiped them. Um, and I didn't finish the tower that day because I had made some mistakes earlier or on lower floors. But he anyway. the really successful outing I had against him, whether it was in PvP or in the tower, I don't remember the comp. Maybe I had Abigail, so I had that attack buff or whatever. But I threw barrel with Theron. It crit him and he died from
Mm,
full health.
okay.
It one shot him. So because with Theron you get armor hunt. Even though he has dwarven forged, you get double or you get
Double
30
damage to
well,
armor.
double damage to armor plus you get 30% more damage because it's water on fire. So Theron is a strong counter to him. Um, who else? Samurai Takumi is a good counter to him, but that's kind of tough because you need um, it needs to be almost one on one, so you get more hits on him.
Hmm.
But anyway, but yeah, you can reduce his pressure to nothing, um, which is a big deal. So anyway, but yeah, so we talked about our favorite part of the game. What's been your favorite event so far?
Oh, I've mentioned this before. The favorite event is by far the double token event that they had. That was right around the time where I was really noticing, hey, these things are important.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and so I was just like, I need to get some of these. So I think I upgraded probably 10 people during that event. So
nice.
that was very useful to me. And I'm talking about like from, and a couple of them I ascended, I think, probably a couple times because I spent a lot of gems on trying to get Sumi to 4 stars. Because I had him at 2, right at like almost at 3. And I was like, I need to get him up. And then so
So what you kept
I
resetting?
focused on him. Yeah, and I reset. I probably spent a couple hundred gems just resetting just to continue to roll for Sumi.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. Even with people
I
that
I do it
I'm,
just very occasionally. It
yeah.
was just during that event,
Oh,
really.
oh yeah. No, that completely makes sense because every gold chest was worth 4, every purple chest was worth 6. So
Yeah, and
I
I
mean,
ended up getting like a couple purples after my re rolls too, and I was just like, yeah, okay,
yeah,
worth.
yeah, that was completely worth it. So, um, yeah, that was a huge event. And I probably would be right there with you, but for me, I think just because full roster for the most part, and um, really trying to get people upgraded and get more abilities and stuff like that. I liked the 5 times Evo event the other day. I had $5 to spend on the game, so I actually got the stamina and keys, the $5 stamina and keys pack thing, and
Hmm.
and rolled a lot. So I found a good way to sort of farm that event. Initially, I'm like, I don't think the event's working, and according to the forums, apparently it wasn't. But um, and that's why they put out all that stamina, where they sent us like hundreds of
Yeah, I
stamina.
just used up all that stamina like on Monday.
Yeah. So
It took me that long to use it,
so
so
so between all of that plus some keys I had like just spent all my ponage points on keys one day, and then buying the stamina keys pack or whatever. Um, I I probably ascended 6 times
hmm.
because a lot of people were just waiting on celestials. So I had to really pay attention. I know I took Ice Bloom. I had just unlocked Ice Bloom, and I took her from not ascended to fully ascended. So that's 2. Um, and who else? I don't want to spend too much time on it. But anyway, several people that I really wanted to get ascended, I did. And like I said, I didn't quite pull off the subterranean guys, Igorok and Julius. They're both still sitting at nothing. So unfortunately, but got got some subterraneans right at the end of it, so I just have to farm up the rest of the stuff, and both of them have a lot of requirements, even for their first ascension. So, um, but yeah, that's probably my favorite event, and then very close second would be the token event because yeah, that was huge, lots of upgrades, and I haven't done the gem thing yet. Is it really just 15 every time?
Talking about reset,
Yeah, when you reset for
it's
tokens.
20
I think mine's 15. I must be at some VIP level or something where I got that or something. Um,
possibly.
but it's yeah, I think some VIP level I hit a while back reduces resets or something like that. So
I'm only at 2, so
yeah, but yeah, it's yeah, that was a huge event. I guess what I was gonna ask though is it the same every time or does it graduate just like all the other resets
it
do?
goes up. Yeah,
Okay, okay, okay.
I think
All
it
right.
goes up to 40, and I may be getting that confused with um, PvP resets
Oh,
or
okay.
PvP added attacks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's 2040 for sure. So, um, yeah,
I guess I
it's
can look.
nah.
I'm on the game, so
Oh, okay. Well, if you're on it, so it's a
it
um,
shows 20 to start with.
okay.
First reset.
All right. Cool. 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 So it's a thing that it moves up each time, just like every other reset. Okay. But I mean, if you have an event like that and you can do each one, that's not so bad.
Oh yeah,
That is worth it. I understand how people get start out so quickly now. So I've always wondered that. But all right, cool. So we got our favorite events. So real quick, anything in the games in the game at the moment that you wish you could see an improvement upon?
um, it's kind of funny the way you worded that.
Yeah, I
You said
worded that
if you
really
could
weird.
see an improvement. We've talked about it multiple times, and I might be stealing yours here, but
Sure.
the in PvP, whenever you're going up against someone, if you're going up against someone that has a hero that you have not yet unlocked, you really have no clue as to what that hero actually does.
Yeah, you have to go outside of the game to learn that, which is bad. Anytime I have to shut down the game or come off the game to learn something about the game, and this is for everybody. This isn't just for Big Fish and the Dungeon Boss team. This is every developer. If I have to go outside of the game to learn something that the game does, then there's a failure there, in my opinion. In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about like min maxing and strategies and stuff like that, yeah, you're probably going to go outside of the game. But like when it's just basic knowledge of the characters, that kind of thing needs to be in the game, and you can't find it until you actually unlock the people in game.
Yeah, and that
Because the in the hero screen, if you want to go click on somebody and just see what their stuff does, you're just it just gives you the message of this you can buy these tokens here. It's like, no,
right.
I just want to know why he did this to me in PvP
Yeah,
because
yeah. I mean, you can tap and hold on him, but that's when you're already there. So, like, you
and
could.
even that doesn't do anything.
Well, I mean, it tells you that their passives and stuff like that, which is useful
Where
if you. No, I'm talking about when you're actually in the match,
oh
not
okay,
before the
yeah,
match.
well
Yeah,
it's a
which
little
is
late at that
yeah
point.
is late. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Is like, yeah, you could be tapping and holding on someone who's wiping your team because you didn't know how to deal with them. So it's
Hmm.
yeah, it's a little dirty to have to walk into that. I think one answer to that they've implemented in recent events, like with Leonidas and the Furnace, is letting you play as the character fully ascended, which that's
Yeah,
cool. That's cool. But if you're not here for that event, well, you're up the creek, and B, if you have a bad memory, you're up the creek. So it's like, and it doesn't necessarily, playing with them for one mission or dungeon. Sorry, playing with them for one dungeon doesn't give you a full feel of oh, okay, so this is how you counter this guy. Oh, so this is what you do, so on and so forth. I mean, you have to take that extremely slowly to really, I guess, soak it all in. And even then, there's plenty of things, plenty of combinations and synergies you may not even think of. So yeah, I agree with you. That's a pretty big one. Something I'm experiencing, and I'm sure people who have been playing longer than us are experiencing it over and over and over and over and over again, is all these useless celestials I have, like Brawny or Earth Sisters or
They need to have a selling place.
I don't think you need to sell them. I think, and maybe that they've already stepped toward this by putting crafting out on the main screen, which
Yeah.
that was not like that when we started, and then when they did the big update with PvP and stuff like, or no, that was when they added challenge mode. Those may have been the same patch. I don't know, but um, they put crafting out on the main screen, so maybe we're going to see an improvement to crafting where you can actually break things down. That would be good.
Yep.
Like if like take Earth Sisters for instance, you can choose whether you want reds or greens out of it, and you get a random assortment of reds and greens. Um, something like that. That would be a cool way to do it. I would hope it would be where you get an actual choice in it. I doubt it would be though. It's probably going to be you just get random junk. But you know, where you could get uh, components of that particular celestial, like whatever you would use to build it, you could get some of the components back from that. Maybe get some credits for it to, or credits. Wow, I'm get. There's
And
so many different names for currencies across games that I get them confused. Gold, sorry. So
I actually think it would be kind of cool if they did that, like not just for Celestials, do it for the Evos also, because the the Evos, just the second tier of those, I for most I have an incredible amount of the second tier, not much of the first, because of the just the stuff now is
oh, for like
uh,
second ascensions and stuff, where you
well, yeah, it's like you need 30 or 40 of the larva and like 5 of the Evo.
oh, I gotcha. Well,
So
I get what you're
like
saying.
it
Yeah,
takes
it
me
would be
it takes me a
nice.
while just to get the stage 1, even though I already have the stage 2, which should be a little bit more difficult to get, but yet I
Right.
have 15 extra of those, and it's the same type. It's like both fire or something like that, and I have 15 extra. Why can't I just like take a couple of those and get a couple of the small ones back?
Yeah, yeah, that's a cool idea. Yeah, it's just even if it's not a direct breakdown where it's just like, well, you get 10 larvae for an evo. Maybe you get 5. Like cut it in half or something like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that would be
It doesn't need to be a full breakdown, because then you could
right.
just go back and forth. Um,
Yeah, it'd be too easy at that point.
yeah. I mean,
There
you
would be
spend a
no reason.
gold, but
Yeah, there would be no reason to collect at that point. So, yeah, I think it would be. I think breaking down would be the next evolution in Evos. So, yeah, that would be my most like the feature that jumps out at me constantly is, well, now that we got crafting out on the main screen, maybe we can go in reverse. Instead of just building up to things, we can break down to other things. That would be extremely helpful because, like you said, it's a problem pretty much with any of the stuff you're collecting. You can have an overabundance of things, which when a new character comes out and they use a new hero comes out and they use that stuff, that's all well and good. But I mean, I'm so overloaded with fire stuff right now, and I don't have the furnace, so I assume I'll be able to use some of that stuff on him, but I don't think I'll be able to touch my stash of fire stuff. For some reason, I'm just overloaded with fire stuff. But to my original point, the biggest thing is these celestials, because if you could break them down and use it and use the materials to build up to celestials that are more useful, that would be fantastic. So, like subterraneans, bushidos, of course,
Hmm.
and shadow gets used a lot on second ascensions. And what else? Those are the runed gets used a lot, but it seems to drop more. Um, it's still rare, but anyway. So there's crypt. That's what crypt, and basically the dark and the nature stuff seems to be the dark fire, I guess, because both what is it, arcane and crypt use combination of fire and dark, and they are extremely rare. They barely drop, it seems. So it would be nice to be able to break down other things for that, like that less useful fire one, Earth Sisters, or that less useful dark one, all of the dark ones. So it's not really, but anyway, yeah. So point belabored to death. That would be a nice improvement. All right, so let's move on to. We're still noobs, but what's your go-to PvP comp or strat right now? Composition or strategy for those who don't understand.
Um, in all right, let's clarify. Are we talking about attack or defense?
Let's do attack because
All right, so attacking.
sure, yeah,
Um, without a doubt, currently I start with Torchy.
yeah, okay,
99 out of 100 times I start with Torchy.
okay,
Um, and just because um, it's kind of the same thing. Like it's just to get rid of Bovis. It's still people are using Bovis. I think he's kind of worthless in defense. That being said, it somewhat forces someone's hand in a sense to use Torchy or whatever. Uh, but I do think he's kind of worthless in defense because of Torchy. Because all you have to do is Lockjaw on Bovis, and Bovis's big thing is completely useless. So, um, but yeah, in attacking, I use Torchy, and then my first normal. He's the only fast that I usually use. I will go Indigo every once in a while, but Torchy and then Bovis, and the last two, the second and third normal, are I would say a little interchangeable, but for the most part, I'm using Nitpick. Well, the second normal is usually Abigail because of the attack buff, which is I stole that from you. Um, and I'm sure you might be a little mad. I'm stealing probably your lineup right now, but
no, I'm
it's
fine. Go ahead.
it's Abigail and then Nitpick, and then every once in a while, if say they have like two water types, I'll take Abigail out and put Sumi into the fourth slot, move Nitpick up and put Sumi in the fourth slot just to get a little bit of extra because I have a blessing on Sumi, so that's why I use him, and he does crazy damage to water type. So
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty legit.
and Nitpick's fire is still strong. So
It's crazy strong. Well, with the buff to casters, he does 1.75% or 1.75%. He does essentially 75% more damage
mm-hmm.
to most everybody. So it's a big deal, and it makes him extremely strong. I would I have a hard time like when I'm running that lineup because that was the lineup I started using too was Torchy, Bovis, Abigail, Nitpick, and I've broken away from it in the past couple of days for some reason, and it's and probably because of events and crown quests and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But it's because it's almost all fire, but you have that Bovis wild card in there to kind of give you a little bit of defense and on your attack, and it's a strong comp, especially if you can start starring them out. I just upgraded Abigail. It's funny, I just upgraded Abigail, and I don't think I've used her yet since I upgraded her because I was doing other things. So with the Ride of the Valkyries event, I did the all ladies attack 4 times, and I'm like, this is really crazy, ridiculously strong.
Hmm.
So it's you go in and you start with Indigo, and so our go-to comps are pretty similar. My only thing is I keep Abigail in. I um I don't necessarily like Sumi. I like Sumi a lot, but I use him more for PVE, just because he relies so much of his damage relies on actually being attacked first, and so if you don't get attacked, sometimes you're just not doing enough damage to really clear somebody. And I'm trying to clear people on first turn as much as possible.
Oh
So
yeah.
because that second turn, especially if you're using the Bovis strategy, that second turn can get nasty really fast. So, um,
If you don't kill the enemy Sumi and you leave him with 1 hit
or
point.
yeah, which is completely possible sometimes. So, um, you randomly miss one meteor, and all of a sudden he's got a sliver of health left. Um,
Yep.
but anyway, so that was I was sticking with that for a while, and I've been mixing it up over the past couple of days. So Ride of the Valkyries hit, and they had the whole get 10 Ella tokens by doing 4 attacks with all females. So I did Indigo. Let's see if I can remember this right. Indigo, Willow, Black Diamond, and Ice Bloom. And my Ice Bloom, well, all of them are fully ascended. So um, Indigo does her silence, and it's like it's not going to work on everybody, obviously, but all I as long as Indigo would hit her silence, which was all the ones, I think all the ones I did with them, she did. So as long as Indigo hit her silence, we were pretty much golden,
Hmm.
because Indigo hits the silence. You pick someone to do more damage with Sniper Shot with Willow. Then you hit Blade Storm, and if it crits, you probably killed somebody. If it doesn't, whatever, at least you did damage to everybody. But then Bovis is silenced, right? Or whoever the first normal is silenced, because that's who you silence. So they take their turn, and typically, and I don't think they ever killed anybody when I ran this. I've got Ice Bloom now. So if you don't have Ice Bloom yet, if you're listening, or Lone Wolf, I don't think you have her yet.
I
So,
I did just unlock her a couple days ago.
oh,
Yeah.
nice. Okay. Well, I'm not sure. Have you noticed? Is it on her first ascension? Have you ascended her
Yes.
at all?
I've read her first ascension.
Okay. Is it on her first ascension where she gets the heal?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, so she gets the heal on her first ascension. On the second one, it gets stronger. First one, it's 35%, right? Is that right? She
I
heals for 35%.
think something like that.
Yeah. Well, the second one is 50%. So you get her fully ascended, and you freeze their team, but you freeze your team, and all of them are healed to full for the most part. So that's why
Yep.
that became extremely effective. Was number one, you've got an entire fast team plus Ice Bloom, and so your team is going to thaw out faster than their team, but your team's also probably at full health at this point because they just healed for 50% when she froze them. So Indigo doesn't get frozen. I believe she's immune, but Willow and Black Diamond get frozen for the almost every time they get healed. But then they thaw out before the other team does, and they can do another round of damage before the other team actually even gets to attack. So I had at least 2 times where the other team did 0 damage because the silence ended up either killing the person or they went for they tried to attack Willow and missed or something like that.
Right.
Whatever happened, I had at least 2 times where the other team did absolutely no damage whatsoever. Now it's gimmicky because Indigo, her silence is based on a chance, and yeah, you get at least 3 chances, but they don't all they don't, it doesn't always silence. So if you but you kind of got the backup with the damage of Willow and Black Diamond, so you can just unload on that specific person that first normal if you have to. But anyway, it's actually a pretty fun strat and not something I've necessarily stuck with since getting the quest done, but something I may look at more as I get more stars on them because
Yep.
it is pretty fun and it's pretty ugly, honestly.
You'll
It's
find
really
this you'll
mean.
find this kind of funny. I actually did an attack to where I did 0 damage.
it's like
Yeah.
the it's like the random match I had the other day with our go to comp that they decided to target Nitpick even though he wasn't the most obvious target, and so
No, I
my
did
strat fell
zero
apart.
damage. I didn't even get.
Oh, I know,
Uh,
but this was like,
yeah.
I never told you that was a -5 to me. That person was -5 levels on me, and they beat me because they killed Nitpick. Like that's how weak our comp is if Nitpick dies.
Oh yeah, he's the damage.
So
But I messed up. It was Igorok was the first normal, so it didn't scare me all that much. I mean, all you gotta do is lock jaw on him, and he's silent, so he doesn't get it off. So, but they had a Kira as
uh,
their first fast, or their only fast.
and he crit twice.
He crit Torchy 2 times and one shot him. So Torchy didn't get his ability off.
Well, yeah, it's ranged.
Igorot got polar pounding off. Um, Froze everybody. Used all the other abilities. I can't even remember what they were, but they were enough to kill everybody on my team.
That's
And I
funny.
did not even get to click the mouse during that PvP, and I was doing that attack.
Oh man, that's pretty rough. So, um,
So if I see a Kira, I'm thinking twice about my strategy of trying to go in there with Torchy. So
well, we've really talked it up. We've probably done a lot more on this than we expected to. So hopefully we'll have more to talk about the next time we do it. Which the plan is each week because there's always plenty of events during the week that we can talk about if we have nothing else to talk about. So um, we're we're planning to do this podcast at least weekly at this point, and also throw in some special features from time to time. Uh, that tie into the channel here. I have some ideas on some dungeon boss / wrestling tie-ins that could be pretty fun little, not parody, but I guess comedy videos. So before we go, where would you say you most need to improve as far as playing the game at the moment?
I would say two little separate areas, I guess. One is daily doing the Tower of Ponage
Okay.
because I'm just sometimes I'm skipping it. I'm just like, oh, I'll just use up my energy, use all my attacks, do my clan quest, guild quest, and you know I've played my day. Um, and I just kind of I don't really forget about it. It's just kind of I don't want to say it doesn't annoy me. It just scares me right now because I'm so terrible at it. So
We'll walk through
daily
it.
doing that, and then also just getting stars.
Yeah. Yeah.
upgrading all my people. That's my biggest weakness right now. So
Yeah, and
well,
I
and getting some of the top tier people. That's
sure, but that's not up to you. That's that
yeah,
that
that's
you
kind
can
of a loot roll.
yeah you can only control that so much. But yeah, I'm gonna piggyback on the stars thing because I'll get in a rut where I'll focus on one or two people because I'm like, well, what quest am I closest to? Is it 4 star or 5 star? Okay, well, I'm just going to focus on this one person. And then I'll have energy left over and I'll just like roll for evos or something like I'll have some keys and so I'll roll for evos instead of continuing to get tokens. Well, there's people that I'll come back to later and I'm like, "Holy cow, I should have been getting tokens for this guy. He would have had them in the same amount of time it took me to get that other person." So like last night I discovered Femus. I don't use him at all except for tower fodder. But
Yep.
he's stronger tower fodder if he has more stars, right? Yes. So I was looking at who I could get to like 4 stars next because I've got that quest, so you get a little extra from it by getting more people there. And so I had been working on Abigail. I got her to 4 stars, and then I just didn't know where to go next. Well, I get down my list, and I have Yasmin. I have who's, by the way, I hate Yasmin as a character. I wish she would get buffed. But Yasmin, Rogar, and a couple other people. But those were the two that I was just, well, I'll work on these next. And then I get down my list and I see Femus, and he's got more tokens. He's closer to an upgrade than those two were, even though I had been working on them sort of like as a side project outside of Abigail each day. And had I been doing Femus too, he'd probably already be 4 stars. So it's one of those things where just check actually go through the list and find people that I can do simultaneously. I can upgrade simultaneously instead of just keying in on one person and then farming evos or whatever. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big thing I need to improve because stars are just the higher level you get, the more important they are because people do the slow leveling trick where they're not getting any they're getting as little XP as possible each day and getting as many stars or getting as many tokens as possible each day. So they're getting stronger and stronger, and I feel like I'm falling further and further behind. Um, Even though there's plenty of people like me in the game too, as far as PvP is concerned. But anyway, yeah, that's definitely where I need to improve. But we'll just go ahead and close this thing out. We've rambled on for quite a while, and to my surprise, actually, I thought this would be a lot shorter, but we're good at talking about games we like. I guess I think that's the whole point of doing a podcast. So thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe to the channel, give us any comments, and of course, if you want to be involved in the show or something like that, you can also leave that in the comments. Maybe we could get someone else involved or read some of the things people say, so on and so forth. So, also on the screen, you'll see our social media stuff where you can find us on Twitter and other stuff like that. Mainly Twitter. That's probably the best place to find us first, and then you can find us elsewhere from that. But I know Lone Wolf does some streaming from time to time. I used to. I don't really anymore as much. Or really don't anymore. But I'm working on some more canned content like this. So yeah, just follow us on Twitter. You'll see what we're doing. We talk about other stuff too. So if you only care about Dungeon Boss stuff, then maybe just subscribe to the channel and keep abreast of what's going on with us in that game here. With that, I'm the Duke. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you. Later. Lone Wolf, take us away.
Bye, guys. It was fun. Thanks.